if I was to give you an example of somebody in boxing who I've seen over many, many decades now, who I absolutely 100% believe is a psychopath, in my unprofessional opinion, it would be Don King. That guy is the epitome of a psychopath. He has no empathy, no sympathy. Mike Tyson once said about Don King, he doesn't know how to love people. And this is a common trait with psychopaths. They're just so empty inside and fake. They will give you the spiel. They're often, very beguiling. They'll give you all the spiel and get you to love them and like them. But they have no feeling and no compassion or affection for you. They're just using you. And very good examples of this was, if you've followed Don King as a promoter over the decades, he was famous for being in situations where one of his fighters would get beat. And he would go over to the other fighter in the ring, after his fighter's laying on the canvas, in the ring. And he'd start trying to schmooze with the other fighter who belongs to the other promoter and getting his good books, hoping to sign him. He wouldn't give a damn about his fighter who's stretched out on the canvas. And the most infamous example of it was when his fighter, Gerald McClellan, fought Nigel Benn in the UK. And McClellan obviously got horrifically injured in that fight. And as McClellan was laying down in the corner in a very bad way, unconscious, getting oxygen, Don King was over by Nigel Benn saying, yeah, you made a believer out of me, putting his arm around Nigel Benn and all this type of stuff, tapping his gloves. And this is a guy who walked to the ring with Gerald McClellan. This is a guy who was backing Gerald McClellan all the way. And while Gerald McClellan is on the floor in a coma, getting oxygen and the paramedics attending to him and all that, Don King didn't give a damn about him. He was looking at Nigel Benn like, I need to get a greater piece of Nigel Benn. I know Frank Warren is my business associate here in the UK, but I need to get a greater stake in Nigel Benn. That's all he started thinking about. The guy had no compassion, nothing. That is psychopathic behavior. Now, Don King, yes, he has killed 2 people in the past. But again, he killed those 2 people. One of them, I believe, was justifiable homicide because this is what the court ruled. Justifiable homicide because it was in self-defense. The other guy that he killed, he kicked the guy to death over some type of debt. Okay, so he has shown violence, but psychopaths are not really normally all about the violence. They're normally about getting from A to B and doing it by any means necessary, not giving a damn about who they tread on. And sometimes they do get a thrill. They do get, excuse me, they do get, they call it duper's delight. They get a thrill out of tricking people and out of deceiving people and conning them out of their money or whatever. Don King has got so many, or had so many legal battles with fighters over the years, you'd probably lose count how many fighters had this guy in court for trying to rip them off. He was obsessed with trying to get one over on people and try and be sly and backstab people. He was just upset. It was a compulsion. It got so bad that during his second spell with Mike Tyson, after Mike Tyson came out of prison, when Mike Tyson found out that this guy had been robbing him again, Mike Tyson actually confronted him. I believe he was outside some type of hotel and he beat Don King up. And it weren't the first time that Mike put hands on Don King.